December 3rd, 2018. There's a new article here today about an update, major update about a ongoing scandal where the Democrats seems are trying to rig elections in Broward County after the midterms. Brenda Snipes, election chief in Broward, had received a lot of criticism. President Trump had called for Brenda Snipes to be fired, and even Democrats were saying that she was corrupt or incompetent. And Trump had one quote where he said that no, she is not incompetent. She is very competent, but in a bad way. Basically, that she is corrupt is what President Trump had said. Another Democrat opponent, Tim Canova, somebody had shared a picture of Brenda Snipes with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who, amid her own many scandals, she helped rig the primaries in 2016 for Hillary Clinton. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Meanwhile, Brenda Snipes destroyed ballots in a race related to that. I'd covered that in a previous video. Somebody sent that picture to Tim Canova, and Canova said, "Reality is reality. Brenda Snipes illegally destroyed all your paper ballots in my 2016 primary against Wasserman Schultz with 9 days before the election and with thousands of absentee and early ballots already cast. What could they be talking about at this event?" He asks. So that was Tim Canova, and he has since called for a revote in the same race, these midterms. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I was recording and broadcasting in real time following the midterm results, during the midterm results, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz stuck out as just really unbelievable. The results that were coming in, the fact that she won by the percentage that they are claiming that she did, and Brenda Snipes seems to have a close relationship and has helped Debbie Wasserman Schultz, done illegal things to help Debbie Wasserman Schultz in the past, we know. So now she's taking back her resignation. President Trump had called for her to be fired. Brenda Snipes said that she was going to be resigning in January. Then following that, Rick Scott, Republican governor, suspended her early. She was supposed to be suspended as of now, and now she is saying that she's going to go to court, and she takes back her resignation. Florida elections chief, who resigned amid controversy over her mismanagement of vote counts during the state's midterm elections. This article from today reads, she took back her resignation over the weekend, saying she will now fight to stay in her position. Broward County Supervisor of Elections Brenda Snipes resigned last month after coming under fire for several problems that plagued Florida's close elections for governor and Senate last month. Although I have enjoyed this work tremendously over these many election cycles, both large and small, I am ready to pass the torch, Snipes, who is a Democrat, wrote to Republican Governor Rick Scott in her resignation letter. So Democrat elections chief, this corrupt elections chief, she had said that she was going to resign, was due to take effect in January 4th. She had a pretty outrageous retirement package along with that as well that I'd mentioned before, $130,000 a year she was supposed to receive. So I'm wondering if that has to do with why she's taking back this resignation now, that her early suspension could affect that pension that she is getting. Possibly sources were saying different things regarding that, whether that would have affected her pension, but obviously she would want that $130,000 a year. I'd imagine most people doesn't think that she deserves it. She should probably be punished much harsher than just being removed from her position to begin with. The pension should also be taken. People would probably suggest jail time as well for the illegal destruction of ballots and all these other things that we know that she has done. It'll also be interesting to see, now that this is going into court, who else is helping Brenda Snipes in her bid to stay back in this role. In a previous case, major Democrat donor George Soros funded groups were among those defending Broward's Brenda Snipes in another lawsuit alleging inaccurate voter rosters. So Brenda Snipes, this was one of these earlier scandals that she should have already been removed for, and George Soros groups were defending her in that lawsuit already. You're going to have similar groups possibly. I mean, it's something to watch now that this is going to be taken to court, I guess. Brenda Snipes. They're saying Snipes' attorney announced at the Saturday press conference that her client would be taking back her decision to resign from the Post in January, and vowed that she would be fighting this to the very end. We believe these actions are malicious, said Snipes' attorney, telling Broward County voters that Scott's appointment to the Post could affect the predominantly Democrat county in the 2020 elections. Scott suspended Snipes through executive order Friday, appointing his former general counsel to the Post to serve out the rest of her term. Antonacci would serve until November 2020, when voters would then choose Snipes' replacement. State law requires Florida Senate to vote on removing or reinstating county officials if the governor decides to suspend them. The outgoing Florida Republican governor cited her incompetence and neglect of duty during the recount for 2018 U.S. Senate. The 75-year-old Broward County elections supervisor initially resigned from her position after her office came under fire for botching the vote count in November 6th elections, specifically the recount of the tight Senate race between Scott, a Republican, and incumbent Democrat Senator Bill Nelson. Broward County failed to meet the deadline for turning in recount results in the midterms. They misplaced thousands of ballots, they said, and opened 205 provisional ballots before they were determined to be valid or invalid. Finally, they say the disgraced election supervisor, they again give the context that the same election supervisor, Brenda Snipes, also had a history of illegally destroying voter ballots in a 2016 Democratic primary for a congressional race between Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Democratic challenger Tim Canova, and had been accused of not removing dead voters from voter rolls as well. There have been other scandals. Canova lists a lot of different issues with both Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Brenda Snipes. Again, he's calling in these most recent midterms again for a recount now, a revote, a full revote, in fact, to invalidate the results, invalidate the win of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and revote given all of this going on with Brenda Snipes and Wasserman Schultz as well. So that will be interesting. Is that possibly why Brenda Snipes now is taking back? Is that part of her taking back her resignation as well, as she wants to stay in that role to help Debbie Wasserman Schultz during the next couple of months if they are going to try to get a revote some of these opponents? So I will continue to follow here. Let me know what you think in a comment. I do have a link to my Patreon account in the video description, patreon.com/realityreader. Thanks everybody that has donated over there. A couple dollars makes a huge difference. I also have a PayPal link and a link to that original article if you want to read in full. I'll follow up soon. Leave a comment. Thank you.